impressions first day of practice?
Well, they worked hard all summer. They've got a great veteran leadership, so I think that they came in focused. We're way ahead of where we are, where we normally would be installation-wise, and got a lot of good work. A long day today, and they worked hard. So I'm pleased with where they are, pleased with their health, and most importantly, just it's a fun team to be around. They're working. So.
How established is the foundation right now?
I hope pretty established. The guys, the thing that we've communicated to each other, the thing that older guys have said to me is, there's no excuses, really. There's no, hey, I don't know, I don't know this, I don't know that. We have a bunch of veterans here in the junior and senior class who have done this a bunch of times. They know the way we practice, they know the way we prepare, they know the recovery, they know all those things, and so it makes my job a lot easier. I'm not having to communicate all that all the time. And the older guys are teaching the young guys. Can someone please tell them that that's canceled? Sorry, guys.
When did you see this group of juniors and seniors step up and know that they're going to fill that leadership void?
Great question. We did a lot of things this summer with this senior class. I think, this past June, not this June, but the year before when the junior class was sophomores, I think they still had a lot of questions. I think they still had, our senior class of last year, Greg, Ira, all those guys, they were really lockstep with me, the junior class. And I've said it a lot of times, I have a lot of respect for that junior class, now our senior class, because they didn't choose the things that I do. They didn't sit there and say, I want to go play for Matt Rhule, I want to go play for Phil Snow. I sat there in everyone else's homes and said, hey, this is what it's going to be like. Please come, and they chose it. This year's senior class, they've had it thrust upon them, and so I'm their third coach, and so I think that was really hard for them, even up until last year. I think going through the season, we made a lot of progress. This winter, we made a lot of progress in spring, but I thought this summer, we did more team building / leadership building things than I've ever done in my life. Everything from taking our seniors, flying them to Philadelphia, to a retreat in Central Texas, to Navy SEALs, to all kinds of things. And I think in the course of that, we found a lot of commonalities. And so, my goal is that they feel like I'm their coach and that they know that I feel like they're my players. And I think we're there. And so it's a great group. I just think we had to kind of go do some things together to get where we are now.
It wasn't like Junction Boys all over again on your retreat in Central Texas.
No. There was we hung out in the pool more than anything.
So that was this summer?
Yeah, we did a senior retreat in June. We did Navy SEALs in June, then we do a senior and junior retreat every year. So we did both of those, and then we went to Philadelphia in July, and those guys came up. We did like a 3-day NFL summit, but more than anything, we wanted to spend time together. And I think just sitting around, having a meal together, talking. We were in the pool. We have a couple guys who can't swim, and we were trying to teach them how to swim, and just these cool shared experiences. And we had a lot of honest conversations, and we've done that every year. I just think that was really needed by this class, and so I feel like right now as we go into the season, we all have each other's backs and know what to expect.
Talent-wise, where does this group sit compared to the other groups you've had here at Baylor in the first couple of years?
Well, I just think we're really talented. We're just more whole in a lot of positions. I never want to say anything bad about anybody I've coached, so I would just say these guys, we have talent. We have some areas that we have to figure out if we're talented enough. But I like the group that we have. I don't think that we can say, hey, we're really deficient in one area. We have some areas that we just need guys to step up. And guys have to remember they were recruited for a reason. You're recruited to play, and so you weren't recruited to play as a junior. You're recruited to play, and so if you're a freshman, sophomore, and the opportunity comes, you got to go out and take advantage of it. So I think the competitions this camp will be really good. When you take over a program where you have some roster issues and you're trying to rebuild, sometimes you have to play guys as freshmen and sophomores before they're ready, and sometimes you play guys that don't deserve it. And so I think like now we have a bunch of guys that can play at any given position. So there's true competition, and you truly have to earn it. And I feel good about that, and I think it'll bring out the best in our players.
Coach, last year you said that Jake Copeland was college ready as a freshman. Could you expand on what you mean by that? And do you have any freshmen this year that are college ready?
I don't remember saying it, so I remember how with him. If I say it in general, I would probably refer to guys whose bodies are developed enough physically to come in and play. And we have a lot of guys with a lot of talent, just needs developed. But sometimes guys come in who are physically mature enough and developed enough at their position to come in and play. And so it's probably too early to say if any of these true freshmen, are ready to play. Obviously, the guys that came in the spring, got an early start. They're maybe a little further ahead because they've been in an off season. But over the next whatever it is, 30 days, there'll be a lot of opportunities to show what you can do. And so hopefully there's some freshmen that are ready to go, and And last year a bunch of freshmen played. You hope that you need less freshmen and that they're all just an added bonus, a pleasant surprise. And so I think that's where we're at.
As much work as you get done over the summer, is it kind of a misnomer to call this the first day of practice?
Well, I think they get a lot of work. There's a lot of restrictions for us in terms of what we can do with them. We can't do any instruction really over the summer. So this is the first day where you kind of have that team feel, the helmets being out there. But it's way different than when I was playing, where you just kind of show up and that's where you start again. So we do a lot more with them in the summer. And I'm proud of what they worked on the summer. But this is, I was kind of laughing out there. They think they're ready, and then you're out there and it's 112 heat index, and you're 2 hours into a 3 hour, 2.5 hour, 3 hour practice. It hits you a little bit more. So, but they've worked hard this summer. They're prepared for this.
But why do you feel like the three-man defensive front is good, right for this team?
Because just the speed we have in the secondary, and like I said, it's not like we're this wholesale change. It's just we're doing more of what we were doing because we just feel like, we have a young defensive line, some vets, but a young defensive line. But more importantly, we just have a lot of guys in the secondary that have played. And when I went back and went back and looked at the things we did last year when we were in that, we were pretty successful. So hopefully we can eliminate some of the big. Our main issue on defense is just eliminating big plays. I think we had 7 more 40-plus yard plays than any other team in the conference. And so, how do you do that? We try to get more speed on the field, try to run things down, try to pinch plays off. And so we're gonna just feature that a little bit more. That could change in 3 or 4 days, but as of right now, that's kind of the plan going in.
How often do y'all play 3-and-5 last year?
Probably 30 to 40% of the time.
Is this a 3-3-5?
We would call it probably a 3-3-5. I mean, we still play with our Rhule, Mike, and Sam. So Blake, Jordan, and Clay would be out there. They're kind of all interchangeable, but I would say more like a 3-3-5.
His second year with the redshirt rule, after getting to kind of experience that, what did you take away from that, and how do you think you're going to approach that going into this year?
In a lot of ways, the same. I thought we did a really nice job in some areas. We were able to regain Graylin Arnold's redshirt year. We were able to regain Jared Atkinson's redshirt year, R.J. Sneed. So we were able to save years for those guys. I wish I'd have played guys like Gary, Bohannon more. I wish I'd have played guys like Braylon Taylor maybe more. A lot of those guys, we got up in the first game and I could have put them in, and I waited. And some of them got to play in the bowl game, which was really cool. But I think, looking back, when you go through this grind of the summer and August, if you ever have a chance to get in a ball game early, I'd probably put them in early a little bit more. And just for the morale of the team. I remember the first time I played in a game at Penn State, I walked off the field like I was in cloud 9, and it just says, oh, that's why all this is worth it. So, so many times for kids, they say, like, is this worth it? Is this worth it? So I think maybe playing them a little bit more early and not waiting so much for the end of the year would be good.
Matt, on the three-man front, what do you see Lynch's role in that? I mean, is he the standard traditional nose tackle that you would have in that situation, or is he still maybe a defensive tackle paired with a nose?
Yeah, I think he's in that defensive end, defensive tackle spot, one of those 2-5 techniques.
Right.
Because he's a natural hybrid guy. I mean, he's great inside. He's got athletic enough to be outside with Ryan Miller and Bravion Roy and some really big guys we have. We feel like they can be noses. And I think Lockhart and Lynch can go be those 2-5 techniques. And then, guys like Rob Saul and Cheedy, they're ready to play, and so get them in there as well.
So 3-3-5 can hold up against a running attack, you think, in the Big 12?
Yeah, I mean, it better. I mean, Iowa State, they're top in the country, and they do it. To me, it's well, they did. I don't know if like anymore, new staff. But I think at the end of the day, it's not ever really what you do; it's really how you do it. And I know you can be really successful like TCU playing 4 down. You can be really successful like Iowa State playing 3 down. To me, it's just really about our players and getting them on the field. And I think you'd see us be very interchangeable going in and out of 3 and 4 down. I probably wouldn't even say anything at media day about us going to 3 down until Clay got in front of the first camera. And before he started imitating me or whatever about me, he said, "Hey, we went to the 3 down stuff." So I said, "Well, I might as well let everyone know." So, but I think we'll be interchangeable. But that's always the concern when you go to more of a dime, 3-3 type of look. Can we hold up versus big sets? There's not a lot of big set teams in the Big 12, but there are some.
But do you think that's going to, because I know that Gary Patterson was talking about it, Les Miles, that more tight ends are going to start playing. It feels like more power is coming.
Yeah, I think that's happening across college football. I think everyone would always love to do that. I'm the first person to jump on it, but you also have to hold up when people are scoring a bunch too. So, but I mean, people have been stopping the run game with that. It just comes down to good players. If you have good players, if Lynch and Lockhart can make play, can two gap and make plays, then you can play defense all day. If they can't, and we feel like they can. So we just felt like it was the best way to put our guys in position, and they know it, so it's not like they're learning something new. Some subtle nuances that we've added, but feel good about where we're headed, and I think it'll be hopefully be a good thing for us. And we always know we can just kind of roll back into 4 down in a second's notice, and our kids know that. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot.
Matt, after rotating some guys around in the spring, how do you feel about the offensive line coming into camp?
There's a lot of competition. I feel like we have 7 or 8 guys that I know could play, and there'll just be some good battles. A lot of guys worked hard this summer, so I think it's unsettled in terms of what that chemistry is and what that lineup is. But I do feel like we have the guys to go do it, and we've had some really, really pleasant surprises. Some guys like Jason Moore have really grown up and matured, and now he's become a guy that you can count on, and many more like that. So I feel good about where we're headed in that direction. So I think it'll be a lot of good battles. Really, sometimes the offensive lines, they don't get settled till like game 2 or 3. You have a guy has a sprains an ankle, a guy hurts his knee, so it takes a little bit of time. So.
What's that like for you as a coach when you see that light come on, like it did for Jason Moore or anyone else?
Well, really, so much of this is, how good a player is, and even when people talk about recruiting, it's really about maturity, both physical and, emotional maturity. And so they're all good people. But sometimes, when you're young, you make young-minded mistakes, and then all of a sudden you grow up and become more of an adult, and you put away childish things. And so that's true for all of our players. You just hope that you can, keep them going and not make a big mistake or not quit or not whatever until they've grown up and matured. And so, guys like Jason Moore, and he's always been a good kid. But he just, with football his priority, with school his priority. Gets off to college, but he's got such a strong family that you could always pick up the phone and call them, and they were going to be lockstep with us. And he's such a good kid; he wanted to be a good player. And I think now, he was 277. Now he's 305 pounds. He's walking around. He's barrel chested. He's ready to do some things both physically, and we have him for 3 more years. And so, I could go story after story after story with guys like that. So to me, it's just a process of just pushing them through. All the guys from 18 until they're 22, and watching them grow and watching them develop, and when their time's ready, you hope that they go out and play well.
A couple more. Saw the departures of Deontay Williams and also Marjay Smith. How much more does that complicate maybe your depth at the defensive line, and has there been any other attrition?
Yeah, well, so Deontay just unfortunately had to have a second arm surgery. His arm's never really healed, so he's gonna be medically disqualified and finish school, and then then Marjay just made the decision this wasn't for him. So both those guys were playing linebacker for us since we gone to the 3 down front, so it really doesn't affect us too much in the D line, and they were. So I think we're whole at every position. We have enough guys, and I think we'll be healthy where we are. But Deontay's. I'll make it very clear. Deontay's a member of this team. Like he's like Lanoy out here coaching. He's just a guy that unfortunately, football's a tough game. Sometimes you get hurt and you think it's an injury, you have surgery, and then it's another injury, and it just doesn't help heal. So he leaves here in very, very good standing. He's still one of us. And Marjay's a kid we love. He just at the end of the day, this is really, really hard. And it's only for people that want to do it, playing college football. And so, if we can do anything we can to help him, I'm on the phone yesterday with a kid who left in the winter, trying to make sure he's got a place to go. Like, once you play for us forever. So, hopefully he'll land, in a good place for him.
Deontay had multiple fractures from the Texas game last year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know the actual thing what it was. It was a pretty bad fracture, and then it healed. They thought, but then it didn't heal, so we had to go in and redo the surgery. So. For him to go out there and put his body on the line, I think right now it just wasn't the right thing for him.
Are there anybody else that's not practicing because of health reasons?
Yeah, so Gavin Holmes is not practicing right now because he had a second ACL in the fall, so he's rehabbing.
Is he going to be available at all?
I don't think so. I think maybe he could, but I think we'll be really cautious with him and use this as a redshirt year for him. Tyler Henderson tore his ACL in the spring, so he'll be out this year. Craig Williams hurt himself. Squirrel hurt himself, but he should be back at some point, so he's in the process of coming back. Tyrone Brown came in with a foot injury from high school that we had to have surgery on, so I think he'll be back at some point, but not practicing right now. And Christian Morgan hurt himself on the second to last day of conditioning, so he's not practicing right now, but will be back. So, 3 long-term injuries and a couple guys we hope to have back at the beginning of the season or for Big 12 play.
Christoph really.
How do you feel about how Charlie did today, and what are your goals specifically for him this fall camp?
Well, I don't have much of a feel for today. We have so many drills going on at once, and so I'm probably running around just making sure everyone's giving effort. I'll watch the tape, but I think for him, I think the challenge for him has been just to pick up where he left off last year in terms of not forcing things, but also take his game to the next level of getting in and out of plays, checking protections, and really being a leader on this team. Not just being a quiet guy who plays really well, but becoming a leader. And I think the cool thing was we put him in some of those positions this summer. Maybe some he was, excited for. Some he was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But the guys want him. The seniors want him to be a leader because they know his position and they know what it means. And so I thought that was really cool, seeing the maturity of our leaders on our team, that they want Charlie to be a leader. So he'll continue to always, I think, do things right and try to influence people with his actions. But I think becoming a vocal guy, and not a yeller or screamer, but a vocal guy that says, hey, this is what we're going to go do, that's going to be really cool.
Christoph had to play a lot of snaps last year as a young player. How much do you think that helped him into moving into this year, and now having Ben Sims available and your other tight ends, how strong do you think that group can be?
Yeah, we just don't have many in the tight end group, but I like the ones we have. Snyder just got here. Sims redshirted last year. Kobe Bullard's a guy that can do multiple things. Cody George's a guy that's been around a long time. So we have a good nucleus of guys. But Christoph played a ton last year, so at least he knows what it's like. And most importantly, you can go back and watch the tape and see the things he needs to improve on. There's just a couple of things, his hand placement and some things that if he can improve, he can make a jump from good to great. And he's such a likable. It's funny. I have one of my old tight ends here from Temple. His girlfriend's going to Baylor. I think it's PT school or nursing school or something. Sorry. And they came through, and he was sitting there, and he's been on and off NFL rosters, and so Christoph saw him and walked over and said, hey, every time I do something wrong, they show me tape of you doing it right. I mean, he's just such a likable kid, right? And so, I think he'll play really well for us, and I think Ben Sims is going to have a really good camp and a really good year. But I think that's the thing for me with all this. There's been a lot of great questions about different people. I think we're at a point where everyone's going to have to go out and show what they can do. And my challenge to our team has been, I always use the word process. And I tell them, I said, what does process really mean? It means where you're just completely focused on yourself and you recognize that you're in control of your career. We're in control of our season. And so, we give a lot of guys reps. Guys have a chance to show what they can do. So it'll be really, I think the theme of this camp is it's a really competitive camp. And guys have a chance to show, hey, I should be the starter, or I should be the starter. And I want a depth chart that changes every day based upon what you did that day. And so I'm hopeful that we can get there. And guys like Christoph and Ben, those will be great battles. But they're not battling against each other. They're competing with each other to try to be the best that they can be. And I think that will allow us to be a really good team, hopefully.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Coach.
man.
Thank you.